Well, welcome, welcome. There we go. Hi, my name is Lynnae. Glad to have you here. I am the owner of Growth Junkie Coaching, and my title kind of says it all. I'm an intuitive transformational coach. My jam is energy. Everything is energy. Everything is energy. So I'm coming on randomly today. Um, I have a membership group, and today my conversation was I think I'm going to explode. I think I'm going to explode. We're in this group right now doing some energy clearings, and we're destructing the structure of this reality of our life, our living, our money, our business, and so forth. So kind of some fun, intense, fabulous work. It's like taking down everything of the structure of how you have functioned to create your own. So, but that's not why I'm coming on. Okay, I think I put the title down here is what does overcome mean to you? To overcome something. And how have you overcome it? Okay, so a week ago, no, actually, it was just a couple days ago. I was working with a coach because I always have a coach. If you're a coach, you need a coach. If you are up leveling your life and you want to move forward, you're in recovery. It is really helpful to have that other person who can rise. You can just be in that vibrational energy of where you would like to be. Okay, so. Gratitude, not gratitude. See, I can't even say the word because I didn't even overcome. Overcome is a word that I'm going to write it down so I can actually have it in front of me. Is a word that I don't associate with, but I have overcome so many things in my life, so many, and it was brought to my attention by this fabulous lady who I've been working with when she asked me, how have you overcome all the challenges that you've had in your 58 years of life? And I'm like, well, I haven't overcome anything. And she looked at me like, gah. And I became aware that I hate the word overcome. And so I love the energy of words because that creates so much in our lives, or it doesn't create. But what I have done in my life, what I have overcame in my life, people are often curious about how other people do that in their life. I have never had that until recently. Now just hang in there with me. Okay, just hang in there with me. That I've actually ever overcome anything. Okay, I am a woman that has been in recovery. I am 34 years clean and sober. 34 years off of pot, my favorite. I am a recovering anorexic bulimic at my lowest weight, 75 pounds. I am a recovering workaholic in the terms of like nothing else was possible. This is way back when. I have overcome two really bad marriages, really bad marriages. One that I'm not going to go, we're not going to go into all that, just bad marriages. I have made three humongous pivotal career changes. I left corporate America. I went into healing work, pivoted that. I went into Mary Kay Cosmetics, top lead, huge three careers, and now coaching full time. So there. And all the other stuff that goes into life, codependency, Al-Anon. So where am I going with this? Not really sure, but hang in there with me. What does overcome mean to you? When I was talking to this gal, Shar, I realized how different I am. Have you spent your whole life, maybe not not being the difference you truly are. Like about 5 years ago, when I really entered into a different realm of consciousness, a different journey of awareness, different tools, um, a different avenue. When I left all of that other stuff again and overcame, which I never actually thought that's what I did, because the difference. So your difference, are you okay with who you are as being different? I sure haven't been. My whole life I have done everything not to be different, while being different, while fighting the difference that I am, while being different. So I so this conversation could have a lot of topics, but for me right now, this may never ever be listened to, or it may be the beginning of something really great. I don't really know, but I know that I'm going to explode. So overcome. If you're different, then be my friend and I will be your friend. I learned 5 years ago that the difference of me is the greatness of me. I finally heard that. And for you, the wrongness of me is the strongness of me. So over the last 5 years, integrating more and more of that. But the topic of overcoming something, I have a lot of people will say to me, wow, you're an inspiration. You're this, you're that. And I've always kind of like looked at them. Again, we're always the last ones to get it, right? Sometimes. But with the help of Shar the other day, she helped me realize the difference of me and to help me put into words, possibly, when someone asks me, how did you get from here to here? My answer has always been, because what's next? What's next? What's next? And I know that's really weird in the sense that how have I overcome all of these really intense life situations? I mean, according to what would be, just having recovery, true, real recovery. I could have a topic on that, but where I haven't chose to pick up a mind altering anything, even though I want to, I am still an addict. I still am addicted to the desire to shift my thinking, but I haven't. And that is a daily, daily choice. Okay, so overcome. So I never looked at what I have done as something to overcome, because apparently there's a part of me, and I kind of remember my first therapist, Barbara Searsman, who saved my life, that I spent therapy in, I think like 8 years, because I had so many addictions, the mental, everything. I was pretty warped. But again, you didn't see it on the outside, okay? You did, but you didn't. Was that she always told me there was something very different about me, and I never knew what she was talking about. So here I am, 34 years later, and I'm like, getting a piece of me is that I have always had a deep, deep clarity and understanding that everything that I've experienced, I also created. Now, I know that's not the way everybody else thinks, because I work with people. I've worked with women my entire life, and that's not always the place that people go. But now I'm listening back on Barbara saying, there was two things that she said. She's passed. I wish that I could embrace her today. And her saying that my willingness to be honest was the one thing that was going to keep me alive. I had no idea what she was talking about. The willingness, and then the willingness to be honest. So I have interpreted overcoming with the willingness to allow life to percolate and just turn into big shit shows, right? Like, wow. Some of it you create, some of it comes with the creations of what other people are choosing. You know, life happens. It's what we do with it. And I guess I've never looked at as overcoming something. It really has been this bottom core issue for me. A core life core is, what am I willing to do to get out of this? What am I willing to do to get out of this? I don't know if any of this is making sense, but I need to say it for myself. So I guess that does make me different, but it makes it the gift. So, and that's the gift that I gift today to people, is like, how do I get from here to here to here to here to here to change my life, my living? Well, it is all an energetic thing. I didn't always get that, but yet I did get that. But now I really get that. And now I can actually transfer those tools and that stuff into people's lives. I wish I would have known what I know now when I first hit my bottom, when I got sober, that all the things I'm saying, that there wasn't anything wrong with me. I was different. I processed things different. I thought different. I had mental issues. Here we are 34 years later, and what they know now is where I think I want to explode. What we know as a collective, as a world now, what I did work 34 years ago didn't have words. It didn't have words. They didn't have explanations and diagnosis for it, and somatic, and you know, that's just a big word right now, somatic. We were doing somatic work. We were doing somatic work. I was talking to somebody the other day where we had punchy these things hitting the couch and screaming and yelling and moving our bodies, throwing up in trash cans because there was so much that had to come out. That was somatic release. We didn't have a name. It was called energetic. It was just body movement, right? Because that's where healing comes from. But now it has like titles. So I'm going off. And what I'm also aware of is that I'm at a place in my life right now, and I find that I'm really working with women 40, 45, definitely 50 to 80 years old now in my coaching business, because we've done so much work. I guess that should be the title of what I said. If you're over 40, 50, I should probably stick to 50, but if you're over 50, you have overcome a lot of shit. Maybe that's the name of my new title of my podcast. You've overcome a ton of shit. How much of that are you conscious that you created and overcame? And what, so if someone's to ask me, how did I do it? I just had the one key element. Which I guess not everybody has, which I know they don't, is the willingness to do whatever it takes to get out of it. Now, I won't go into the journey of being addicted to that, because I'm addicted to anything, growth junkie coaching. So I became addicted to creating chaos so that I could overcome it, so I can wear my Wonder Woman cape and go, I overcame it. None of that was conscious, but yet it was conscious. Today, I don't have to choose to do any of that. So let me wrap this really odd, weird conversation up, which I'm basically having for myself over a cup of coffee, is what have you overcome in your life? And I think I had separated overcoming with I'm just willing. There's a part of me that just is so clear that if it's not working, I'm going to do something different. And I've got to tell you, getting sober, leaving 2 horrible marriages, financial ruin, children that are in the disease of alcoholism, deaths, family, eating disorder. I should write a book. I would call it, I don't even know if I would call it overcoming. It's the number one thing. Are you willing? And most people aren't. That's even in the work that I do today as an intuitive, energetic, transformational coach. A lot of people aren't willing to come and do work with me because they're not willing to explore what it is that they could change. Once we're willing to acknowledge what isn't working, we can change it. But that's the whole ticket right there. It's like underneath the rug. I have a saying, it's called underneath the pile of shit is the pony called you, underneath the pile of poo is called you. But if we look to it like all the stuff that you have swept underneath the carpet, that's a general term. When we start to explore changing, especially consciously, you got to lift the carpet up and you got to peek and you got to go, wow. And then you got to learn, is that going to all kill me? But just a little peeky peek is being willing to be aware of what's underneath the carpet. And I guess that's what's made me different. So I don't know. Yeah. So I just had to have that conversation with myself and with anybody who's ever going to listen to this is, what have you overcome? And did you look at it as overcoming? And that's great. There's no right or wrong or judgment with any of this, just total awareness. But if I was to come out to the world and say, wow, I have overcome these things, is that something that people want to hear? Do people want to hear that? Of course, yeah. Do they? Yeah. And I say it and I do it and I share it and I talk about all of the stuff I have done. But maybe I don't, but I do. But if I said, these are the things that I've overcome, and this is how I've done it, number one, I did none of it alone. And being willing, no matter how painful and scary, petrifying, terrifying, painful, but I have this willingness. And the reason I have this willingness is this deep understanding that in order to get to where it is that I have been called in this lifetime to share my experience, strength, and hope, that I have to continue to experience these things, to grow through them, to overcome them, so that I'm a fabulous friend to share. And now a professional, a paid professional for my experience, strength, and hope. I don't know why I hesitated on that, but that's what I do for a living. And so that was my desire and my willingness to grow through everything, so that I could say, hey, I've been there. I've done that. I know what that feels like. I know what it's like to be on the other side of that. I know all of the tools that can get you to that place. So, so now that I've talked with my coffee to YouTube and no one's watching, or it's the beginning of something very great, what have you overcome? Do you identify it as something you've overcome? Or have you just always known that these were the things that you created, became part of, and that by going through all of those, you were here to share how you did that? I'm just getting that today. I love life. I love life. I love being just like consciously awakened, conscious of like, oh, that's what we're doing here. Alrighty. So, to all of my sisters out there who have continuously overcome the next, and it's being willing to do the next indicated step. That's it. And what is the next step? Who can get you to the next step? Who's been there? Probably me. So signing off saying, life is good. Life is fascinating. What are you showing up for? What are you willing to show up for? Number one, you. Are you willing to show up for you? And willingness. Here we go. Thanks, you guys. Peace out.